community president, a wonderful force of nature and supporter of our law enforcement. So thanks for being here. And Hazeling's a dear friend, so nice. Great to see you all. Sam Miglarese from Duke, thank you for joining us. Glad to have you. Gosh, there's new and old faces. Thanks to everybody. Yeah, this is super duper. We have a great guest speaker today, so we're glad you're all here to hear what she has to say. We'll let everybody jump on. And we are trying something new here where you'll, if you don't mind, and if you don't know how to do this, please give us a shout out. But if you know how to use the chat, you'll put your name and your neighborhood or your city position or whatever you feel is important for us to know about you. I think you can see those of us who we're on to start, the leadership team. We put our names in and our positions. There you go. Thank you, everybody. And then we'll have a record and everybody can see everybody's name. We've been running over time with our meetings and we really want to hold them to an hour because we know you all are busy people. And so we thought this might be a way. So we'll introduce our people on the agenda, our speakers. How does that sound, Alexis? And well, the rest of you just know that we're really glad to have you and we appreciate you taking this time to join us on a Saturday morning. And Bobby, we'll give you an opportunity later, Bobby Matthews. Thank you for being with us from the city code enforcement, but you're on the agenda last. Sorry. So hang with us. Hang with us, Bobby. Okay. And I want to take a quick hands up. You can do your icon on the screen, but how many of you got a notification about this meeting from a mass email? So Sam, you got it from me, I think. Oh. Yeah, so we've got to put you on the list. So if you want other people to get, yeah, we want to build this listserv. So write an email to the PAC3 leadership team at gmail.com and we will add you. And we're going to be doing it just by email because we just haven't been able to get the listserv email to work. All right, let's see, it's 3 minutes after. We still have people joining. All right. Thank you all. I see you're putting your information in the chat. Ginger's asking a question already about the shot tracker. And Ginger, I'll invite you to join the Durham Businesses Against Crime meeting next month in March. They are doing a program on this shot spotter technology. So Daryl, maybe if you can help me remember that to send out to PAC3 information on Durham Businesses Against Crimes program. Yeah. How's that? We can answer some of these questions while people are joining. Oh, thank you. Alexis has put our email in the chat, PAC3 leadership team at gmail.com. So if you have friends or neighbors or colleagues who want to join the PAC3 listserv, have them write to that email. And we'll keep sending that out. All right. Carol, so anybody adding in new here, we're asking you to sign into the chat with your name and position. And yes, thank you, Chief. Where is she now? Bishop. I knew I didn't know your latest title. I've known you for a while and I didn't want to call you captain, but now you're deputy chief. So thank you so much for joining us as well today. All right, so yep, we've got, and Carol, can you put your name? I see people whose names yet are not in the chat. So I'm going to call you out. Captain Lane, did you put yours in?
I'm in there, Mindy. I did. I put my
Okay.
name.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And if you don't know how to do it, just please speak up right now. Just say, I don't know how to do that. Because it's a little icon down at the bottom of your screen when you float over the bottom. All right, so welcome. We're going to officially open our PAC-3 meeting for February 12th, 2022. And the introductions, I think we'll do as we go along the agenda. We're going to start with reviewing our minutes, January minutes, which I hope you all have received. Yeah, shall we? Okay. We have our January minutes. Is there a motion? Oh, I have one correction to make. There was a spelling error on our speaker last month. So it's Satana, S-A-T-A-N-A. There's one correction. Oh, thank you, Alexis. Here's the minutes from last week, and our huge thanks to Rita, our secretary, who provides these incredible minutes for us each month. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
A motion to approve.
And is there
Second that motion.
Thank you. Second, all those in favor, do you want to say aye or raise your hand? We can see you in the chat.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All righty. And what we're going to do going forward, if we have facts in the minutes that were presented that we then later determined to not be the fact, then we will be sending that out to you as an addition, an addendum, I guess we could call it. All righty. Thank you. The minutes have passed for January. We want to first approve our new team member, Daryl Mount, and let me read you all the good stuff about Mr. Mount, who's no longer an officer, right? I don't call you Officer Mount. Okay. So Daryl, give away. There's Daryl up there. Daryl has spent 11 years at Duke and 22 years total in law enforcement. He's a military brat who had both parents in his Air Force. He's lived in Durham for 11 years, and he lives right here in works in PAC-3. So he is currently let me get the name right, the Crime Prevention Specialist for Duke University. So we welcome him to our leadership team. If I can have a motion to approve him, we're not quite sure how this works. So we'll have a motion if someone would be so kind to approve adding Daryl to our leadership team. I'd appreciate it.
I so move.
Thank you, Joyce. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Captain. All those in favor? Aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Awesome. You passed unanimously. Thank you, Daryl. Any of you are welcome to join our leadership team. I'll put a plug in for we need a treasurer. We need a couple at-large members. And I know I have one person in the works who's interested in helping lead our PAC-3. But you all are welcome to propose yourselves and nominate yourselves to join our team. We appreciate everyone's help. All right, we'll get started with our guest speaker today. She's Durham's Police Department's Crime Analyst Supervisor, Mary Roberts.
Hi, everybody.
There
Good morning.
she is. Yes,
Can you hear me?
center of my screen. Yes, we can.
Good morning, Mary.
Good
Thanks
morning.
for being here, Mary.
So bear with me as I try to share my screen properly. Give me just a moment. I've done this on Teams many times, but not so much on Zoom. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we'll only be here very quickly. Are you seeing my PowerPoint, correct? Data
Yes,
resources?
if you click on slideshow at the top and then go to play, we'll get a full screen.
I'm only going to show you this real quick. I'm actually going to do everything live.
Okay.
And actually take you to these various resources and tools. So this is just the one overview slide of the things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about crime summaries, LexisNexis Community Crime Mapper, the Open Data Portal, P2C, which is our police to citizen resource, and our homicide tracking report. So my understanding is everybody wants to know a little bit more about how they can find information for themselves, look it up. And so if you'll give me another moment, I will switch to the actual information I'm going to show you. That's not right. I'm sorry, everybody. I had this prepared at home this morning. I was ready, but then my internet having problems, and now I'm in the office, so I'm a little thrown off. I had to do that really quick. All right. Now can you see a page that says crime statistics, City of Durham on it? All right, we should be good from now because this is where I need to be. All right, so for the community, there are a lot of resources that the Crime Analysis Unit and that DPD put out for the community to access and look up information for themselves. Not that we don't try to help and want to help, but we're not 24/7, and this gives you an opportunity to go to look for information and keep up to date on what's going on within DPD and within the city. So what I've already done is gone to the Durham Police Department's main page here, which shows like this. When you look it up, you see Chief Andrews over here on the right. So on the left-hand side, where you have About Us, Contact DPD, and the other options, if you go to Crime Statistics, that is the 6th option down, it will take you to the screen I started out on. So within this screen, you can find everything, all but one thing actually that I had showed you in the original slide that we were going to talk about. You can find crime summaries, which are our weekly crime statistics. So if you look in this area, it says crime statistics, you'll see LexisNexis Community Crime Map, which I'll show you in a moment. But before I go there, I want to show you our weekly crime statistics. I put these together on a weekly basis, and they get put out on the web for everybody to see. You scroll down, you can see we have them as far back as 2013. So if you really wanted to go look at some data over the years, you can go all the way back to 2013. So 2022, we'll take a look at that, and we're going to look at the weekly crime statistics. Click on that page there. And what you'll see is when you get there, you'll see everything for the year that's in there so far. So actually there's one for February 5th. They're the week ending. So January 22nd was a Saturday, January 15th was a Saturday. The one for ending February 5th is not on there. So it's a week, meaning 7 days from Sunday to Saturday. So to click on the most recent one ending January 22nd, what you'll see up here at the top is reported offenses. So anything that was reported to the police during that date range, that 7 days, Sunday to Saturday, broken down by district over here on the left, and then by crime type. So we have what was traditionally called, prior to our conversion to NIBRS, which is just a different reporting system for the federal government, Part 1 crimes. We don't use that terminology anymore, but effectively these are what would be classified as Part 1 crimes: homicide, rape, robbery, and ag assault. So you have all your violent crimes up here at the top, and then your violent crime subtotal. And again, this is by district, so we're only looking at District 1. Then below that, you have your property crimes. You have burglary, larceny, and motor vehicle theft. And then we went an extra step and we broke out larceny by the types of larceny that we report, which is shoplifting, all other, and motor vehicle theft. And if anyone has a question while I'm in any of these, please feel free to ask, because I don't want to assume everyone knows what I mean by larceny, other, or any of these other things that I'm saying. So please jump in if you have a question.
Yeah, right away. Mary, can you explain to everyone the difference between robbery and burglary?
Yes, robbery is considered a violent crime. It is a crime where the victim is actually in some sort of confrontation and actually involved in some situation with the suspect. That is a property crime that, again, the suspect has to demand in some sort of threatening manner. A weapon can be involved or not. Property directly from the victim. A burglary is a break into a structure, generally a home, but it could be a shed, it could be a business that doesn't have any confrontation involved. The victim is not home. So there's no element of the victim being involved with the suspect during a burglary.
Great, thank you, because that's something we often confuse as citizens, yeah, that we,
And you hear it on the news a lot too. They'll say someone was robbed, but really that it was actually just a burglary, or it was a burglary. So up here at this top section where it says the current 7 days, what you see next to it is the previous 7 days. So we're giving you a snapshot of what happened the week before and what's going on in the current week. And then any percent change between those numbers. So for example, down here in this burglary, there were 3 in the current week, you'll hear us say, and 4 in the previous week. So down 25%. These next 2 columns are this first pink one, current 28 days. We operate on a 28-day cycle, a 4-week cycle. So it's not a month by month, because if you did January compared to February, there aren't the same number of days in those months. So we're operating on a constant 4-week cycle. And then next to that is the previous 28 days. What you get over, similar to the first week and second week, is you get the percent change from the 2 28-day periods. This last column, this mean average, without getting too into the statistics and the math and everything behind it, we operate on a 52-week period, so a year. And we find the average number of, let's look at this, robberies in this District 1 area over the 52-week period is 8. And so the average number of ag assaults during that period is 33. So if we're below the mean average, again, I won't get into all of the math part, green shows up right here. So that gives the commanders and the citizens a way of knowing, okay, green's good. Yellow, as we look down here, these are our colors. They're pretty straightforward. Green, good. Yellow, be aware. And that means that my crime analysts are looking into that. And red is where you're coming in over that statistical threshold. That doesn't mean that there's necessarily a problem. You could have had a very low week before. This is just kind of a crime analyst, take a look at this and see if there's anything going on. Kind of caution there. So again, it's 2 pages. So you have District 1, followed by District 2, followed by your district, PAC, in District 3. You have the breakdown of, again, homicides, rapes, robberies, and in ag assaults, we break it down further to say if any of those. So there's 1 ag assault. I should mention, violent crimes are person crimes. Robbery, despite being a violent crime, is considered a property crime. So robberies are reported 1 for 1. So if you have 1 reported robbery with 3 individuals involved, say 3 victims, and you come and ask me how many robberies did we have, I would say 1. If you have 1 aggravated assault with 3 victims involved, and you come and say, hey, Mary, how many aggravated assaults did we have? I would say 3, because that is a personal victim crime, and we count that by the number of victims. So in this particular week in District 3, this week ending January 22nd, there was 1 aggravated assault, meaning 1 incident with 1 victim. There was 1 victim. We break down ag assaults a little bit further to say if it's domestic or not, yes or no. If it's not domestic, yes or no. If a firearm was involved, yes or no. So in this situation, it was not. So that's why we have a number 1 here for no firearm involved. This continues down through all of the districts. I think most of you know there are 5 districts within the city. So you have District 4, District 5, and then your crime totals for the week down here. You have your totals. And blue, by the way, is below green. So blue is 2 thresholds or 2 mean. It's even better than green. Again, I won't try to get into the specifics of the map. So to take us off of this slide and go back, I'm going to go back 2 screens to where you see We're at the weekly crime statistics again. We looked at the weekly crime statistics. Now I'm going to show you the weekly crime period to date tables. Those get done every week, and they're basically the same numbers. They just look a little bit different because on the period to date, you have a comparison as you start from the current month to the previous month. So we have January compared to December. You also have full year totals when our years closed out for 2020 and 2021, plus that similar percent change that we talked about. So if we want to go down to District 3 over here, and I know I can't keep the top of the slide with me. So this column right here, this third one, that's 2020. This fourth column is 2021. So what you can see is that in burglary in District 3, there were 300 reported when we finished our year, right? Oh, sorry, that didn't look right. 300 reported in the year 2021 in District 3. The percent change from the previous year is we went down in burglaries, 18.3% in District 3. The layout of this information is similar to the other slide. You can see aggravated assault broken down, burglary, larceny is also broken down. And then you have the ability up here, this would be the only other thing I'd point out on this slide, to see where you are year to date. So in District 1, 2020, so as in, look at this top right here. So it means January 1st to the 22nd. So as of the 22nd of the year 2020, District 1 had 3 robberies. The same period in 2021, there had been 4. The same period in 2022, there had been 7. So that's where that one looks a bit different. You have a little bit more information on this period to date table.
Can we stop you there though? Can we go back to 3 since we are here for District 3?
Yes.
And can you point out then, once you scroll down to PAC 3, then have we improved in crimes in our district?
It's very early in the year to,
Yeah.
I mean,
How about 2021 to 2020 then? How about for last year?
well, again, it's
you?
very early in the year to be doing a comparison of 3 weeks.
Yeah, but not 3 weeks. Don't compare it to now. Compare 21 and 20.
Oh, right here. Okay, the 2020 and 2021. Okay, so that's again this third column right here is 2020. And this fourth column is 2021.
Right, but the whole year columns are over
Yes,
here.
that's what you were looking at. This right here, these columns, these I'm highlighting right here. That is the left-hand one is 2020.
Okay.
And the one on the
gotcha.
right is 2021. Those are year-to-date closed numbers for those years.
Great. Okay, so we could say that robberies went down 9%, 9.17.
Your burglaries were down 18%. Larcenies overall down 15%. Motor vehicle thefts looking good. They were down nearly 20%.
But
Awesome.
aggravated assault is up. That means,
Yes. And look at the homicides. We went from 1 to 7. So this is great, Maria. This is what we have access to all these
Yes.
numbers.
And you can go back, like I said, and look at this for years to see back to
Yeah.
2013. Is that a significant change, or I have no idea. I have not looked at this. So I'm just putting information out there. So don't quote me on that. Was that a significant change, or was 2020 a particularly low year?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that. You have to get in there and play with that.
Right. And I think we want to point out, because we've had concerns in our district with firearms, we can look here at aggravated assault went from 47 in 2020 total to 71 in 2021. And that's what we're experiencing here in our district. And it shows up in the statistics, 51% increase in this violent
And what
crime.
I would also mention it down here, this asterisk is very important. The aggravated assault totals. So your 16 and your 15 right here
right,
is based on the number of victims.
right.
Your aggravated assault subtotals, domestic, non-domestic firearm, non-firearm, is based on the number of incidents.
Right.
Wow. So that's even worse then. So the 71 incidences could have 300 victims.
No,
No,
no. The total number of victims is 220.
Gotcha.
Period.
Okay.
That's all the number.
Oh,
of
it's there. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, but the 71 is incidents or victims?
incidents.
incidents.
So, but that means if there were 3 students held at gunpoint, is it counted as 1 or is it counted as 3?
If
One.
you happen to have an aggravated assault incident where there were 3 individuals involved,
Yeah,
that would reflect in this main column where it's bold, you would have 3. That was 3 victims. If it was 1 incident down here in these areas, it's just reflecting the number of incidents.
Right.
A 1 report. It can get kind of into the weeds. I just wanted to make sure I
know.
covered that a little bit before y'all go
Right.
play with this information, in terms of making sure it's interpreted correctly.
Right. And we're trying to put it into real-time incidences that we know have happened in our district.
Well, and then
Yeah.
if I move forward to LexisNexis Community Crime Mapper, that might help a little bit with you being able to visualize this.
Well, and then the larceny from motor vehicle, which is different from stealing a motor vehicle, that was
Yes, it
also
is.
up, and that's also been experienced in the neighborhood.
Well, larceny from motor vehicle is actually down. There were 830 in 2020 and 798.
All right, 4% down.
Yes, down. They've gone
Both
down.
those numbers are pretty high. Yeah.
Would y'all like to move on to Community Crime Mapper? That might be able to help you visualize some of this.
Yeah, Mary, I just had a question. If we have questions about the reports, should we reach out to you directly, or is there an email where we can reach out and ask questions
About
the
these
reports?
particular
Yeah,
reports that I'm showing you?
yeah.
Why don't you reach out to me and I'll see if I can answer them. If I can, I'll certainly get Mary to help out and we'll get an answer back to you.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to take
Mindy,
you back.
can I add something before we keep going? I just wanted to say those are really important because these are the spaces that we talk about how we can work together to decrease those numbers. So it shows us where we are now, but how can we figure out a way to spread the word of ways that we can decrease them together? So is it going to be door signs? Is it going to be sharing this information so everybody remembers to lock their doors? What are the things that we can talk about and strategize around to decrease those numbers as a community?
Well, and I could, before I go to the next thing real quick, say one of the things in the larceny from motor vehicle is lock your car doors. I would conjecture that many of those break-ins or larcenies involve unlocked cars. That would be a good way to help prevent and lower those numbers.
Awesome. Right. Thank you, Alexis. I think pointing out that we're here to find solutions to our community problems, and seeing those high numbers for larcenies from cars. And the captain and Officer Mock every month say, lock your cars, lock your cars. And now we know why they tell us every month to lock our cars. So that's one area we all can be more accountable for preventing crime. But Alexis, I like how we need to also be thinking, what else can we do in a community? And I think things like lighting, environmental adjustments, cutting down bushes where people can hide, that we can maybe have a prevention talk with Daryl as a prevention specialist and Officer Mock. That might be an opportunity for us to present some prevention strategies at a future meeting. So how's that sound? I think that's a great idea. Thank you, Mary. Sorry to keep interrupting you, but this is just great. We just want to bring everybody along. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to go back to that again, that first screen we went to from the Durham Police Department webpage, crime statistics. And this is really the most important screen because it will take you to all of the give you links to all of the other places that we're going to talk about and data resources. So we just talked about crime statistics. Up at the very top above the weekly crime statistics is, I'm hoping most of you have heard of this before in some shape or form, which is the LexisNexis Community Crime Map. So you would just click on this link right here, and it's going to take you to the United States, because a lot of other agencies throughout the nation use this as a resource. When you get to North Carolina, find your map eventually. You can, save that as a favorite on your computer if you'd like to do that. But for us, we would just select North Carolina. You can see all of these county options that it's giving you to click on to that use this resource in their agencies. So you would select Durham, and it would take you to the Durham page, which I have already brought one up. So a rundown of how this works is that you can, right now my icon right here is showing in the center of Durham because I have just pulled up Durham in general. Over here on the left, I don't have a specific address chosen at this time. You have the ability to select a date range for the information that you want to see. Down here, you have the ability to pick the types of incidents you want to see. Now, these are generic because everybody in the nation that uses this tool, they don't create specific icons and incident titles, names for every particular agency. So for example, I just say that to say, Durham does not have field interviews. We don't put field interviews out here on the map. So you may find some things that are up there, but not applicable to Durham. For example, we do not put homicides or kidnapping and human trafficking, make that publicly available. So just a caution about that, or just to be aware rather. If you were to look in the metadata section, you'd get some more information about that. That's where it gives you the background details of Durham specifically in the map you're on, how many incidents are available and whatnot. So down here you have agency layers. I'm going to skip over offenders and analytical layers for right now, because that's a little bit more in-depth, and I just want you to be able to do some basic searching. So under agency layers, sorry about that. I opened up the agency layers, and in Durham, you have the ability to put the districts on the map. Our Bullseye, which is a program we did many, many years ago, and that's not going to be near District 3. NCCU is just an area around the school if you were looking for where that is. But what you're going to want to do is click districts, because over here is District 3 in the lighter green. You also have the ability to add beats, which gets a little bit more harder to look at. And so just want you to know it's there. For the moment, I'll just look at the district. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We won't see quite all of it. And then I'm going to scroll up and let you see what I've already selected, which is 2/6 to 2/12. This mapping system updates nightly. So incidents from Friday would update overnight and be here today, for example. You can select your incident types over here. We do have aggravated assault, simple assault. There is not attempted homicide. Again, you could scroll through these, but for now, I have selected for that date range, burglary, commercial and residential, shoplifting, theft, and vandalism. So it's hard to see from over here, but the shoplifting is just a grocery cart. So you can see when you get on the map a little bit further zoomed in that this is a shoplifting. This incident happens to be a vandalism. What I want to point out here is this number 3. When you see a number on an icon, that means there's more than one incident there, which this does make some sense. This is over at New Hope Commons. So if you click on the icon, you will be able to see up here at the top that there's little arrows, and you can click from one to the other. So here's case number 1, little 1 of 3, or case number 2, 2 of 3. When you're in an incident, or when you click on an icon, you can see the incident number, the date that it occurred, the address that it occurred at. We do take out the end of each address, for confidentiality reasons. And if you happen to know any information about that, you can always click down here to submit an anonymous tip. When I show you P to C shortly, you'll be able to do a little bit more with that case number if you're interested. So one thing I'd like to mention is that if for some reason you just really were doing a lot of searching and you had a lot of stuff that you wanted to show on the map will not show more than 500 icons at a time. If you have that much up, then you probably need to shorten your parameters, just as a heads up. So if you have whatever icons you have on the map at the time, I'm going to zoom in down here. This is another important thing to know. So I have these icons up in the map. Those icons are what will display on this data grid up here at the top, which apparently it's not going to let me click for some reason. The data grid is this information in something that looks like an Excel spreadsheet. It would have the incident number, the type of crime, the location type, as you're seeing here, the date. I don't know why it's not displaying. I apologize for that, but I really think y'all will find it very intuitive if you get in there and take a look at it. And if you have issues, please reach out to the captain. He'll let me know. My guess is this is just a temporary glitch in the system, probably because I'm trying to use it this morning. You have the option to look at information via satellite. I mean, it's just where satellite imagery, Google satellite imagery. And then over here, you have the ability to sign up for crime alerts. And that's something I think most of you might find interesting for your particular locations and areas you're interested in. So if you want to sign up for a crime alert or for your neighborhood or for a specific address, you click sign up for crime alerts. It's going to ask you for some basic information, first name, last name, email, the address you're interested in, city, state, and then the distance around that address. So you could do the specific address and just say 1,000 feet around it. If you could imagine, you'll probably pick up a couple houses in your neighborhood. You could pick I'll show you a radius in a moment, how frequently you want to receive this information, daily, weekly, or monthly, and then the time of day that you want that email to come into you. So you could say on a weekly basis, I want an email telling me if there's anything that happened around a particular address. You can select your crime types and you will get an email telling you if there were any incidents that fit that criteria. I'm going to close that just so I can show you a radius search and you'll have a sense of what that looks like. So I just picked an address earlier this morning. I'm over here in the search address section. I'm going to do 3825 South Roxborough. And
Is that in our district, Mary?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. And the green, everybody, just so you know where PAC 3 is, we're the green.
Yes.
That's our District 3.
So oh no, it's not. It's a little bit further over. I thought it's right there on the edge. It's over in District 4. Let me pick the mall real quick. I know that address. All right. So again, this error shouldn't normally pop up for you. So again, I pointed out that little crosshairs icon when we first came on the map. That's just showing you where you are. So now it's moved to the address that I have selected. So it's basically showing you where the mall is right now. And what I can do is come over here to underneath jump to a city is click buffer. I want my buffer on. And right now this is a half-mile buffer, which is really large. So I'm going to change my buffer to 1,000 feet. And so what happens, this would be the similar thing that it would do if you were to sign up for crime alerts, is say, okay, and 1,000 feet is even large here. I will point out because it's crossing over I-40 and that really is no longer part of the mall.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make that a little bit smaller and go with 500 feet. And then if you only display incidents within the buffer, when you go to the data grid, which again, I apologize is not working, you would only see information on data that showed up in that buffer, any crimes there. So you'd actually get nothing here right now because these two little incidents are showing up probably across the street, not quite at the mall. You could pick a date range. I will go back to the 23rd of January. And I'm surprised I'm not picking up any shopliftings. I think that's really because the system is not refreshing right now. And I apologize for that. Always happens when you're actually trying to use something.
Mhm.
But I want you to see what a buffer looks like. So that would, it's just, you would only get incidents within the area of the buffer that you selected. And again, so you can, the big takeaways are you can sign up for crime alerts. You can click on any icon and see the address and the case number for that. And you could submit a tip if you know any information. And with that, what you can do, I'll flip back over here to, actually, I'll come on over here to police to citizen. So since I'm having technical difficulties, if you were to go back to that first screen that I've been taking you to where it says community statistics, you will also on the bottom right-hand corner, it's not very far down at all, you will see a link for what's called P2C, police to citizen. That link will take you to this portal. If you have any issues, you can always just do a general Google of Durham Police Department, Durham, North Carolina, police to citizen, and it will take you to the screen. So on the screen is information about reports. And I'm going to move my information over here. Event searches. So if you had that case number and you wanted to look up further information on that case, which would give you a public copy of the report, if it's one of the ones that we put out in the system, we do not put rape, sexual assaults, homicides in the system, you would be able to come into this tool and do a search. It's going to say, well, you can't do it if you don't approve these things. This is the information that we have. There are only certain report types we will take and certain report types that we will provide to the public via the system. I clicked the accept and that took me to by report information, near an address, by case number. If you went by case number, if you click that option, whatever case you were looking on Community Crime Mapper, you could come, and I don't happen to remember any of those cases off the top of my head, put that case number in. I made up a case number, so I don't even know that we'll get any, nope, no results on that one. I truly just made that one up. But what you would be able to get is a public copy of the report with the address information, the date that the report was made, the business, say if it was a burglary to a business, that information. I'm going to take you back here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I just want you to know that this is available. You could do a search near an address. This is very similar to Community Crime Mapper. It depends on which tool you start to become more comfortable with. The difference between P2C and Community Crime Mapper is that you can search for arrests. All arrests are public information unless the person is a juvenile. I could also take you back to the home page again and scroll you down and you would see these options here. Event search, report incident. I just took you a different way to look at that a moment ago. You can go to the event map, which again, now you're in a map and it's not too dissimilar to where we were, but the content is a little bit different. When you see this little flashlight symbol, that means there's an incident. When you see this little lock symbol, that means there was an arrest. We don't have arrests on Community Crime Mapper. And what you're seeing on this map right now is based on the filter up here. So it's showing information from February 5th to February 12th. You can click on any of those, get a little bit more information. I clicked on this address over here with this lock with the arrest, and you can see different individuals who've been arrested. It looks like there are quite a few charges on the same individual. This is something we don't have time to get into too great a detail about, but I really don't think you'll have issues if you get in here and kind of start playing with that. Lastly, I would show you this daily bulletin report. I went back to the main screen. This daily bulletin report shows you the 31 results of arrest and or the types of incidents that we post from, you'll see at the top, February 11th, 2022. And this does not narrow it down by district, does not narrow it down by area. So please be aware of that if you go to use this tool. And I know we're getting close to time, so I want to show you this one last thing, which is on that main screen. Let me go back over here, I'm sorry. again, on that main screen that I took you to, we're at crime statistics off of the Durham Police Department website. Also on the sort of bottom right corner about this area, if y'all can see my mouse, where it would be on that screen, where you would have the link to P2C, you would also have the link to open data. The open data portal is there's information from every department out here, not just the police department. So you can get in and explore, is where we put, I'm gonna scroll down here to this. So we have incidents. You can see that was updated February 8th. You have arrests. This is all basically going to look like one big Excel spreadsheet. You have another incident option, which was updated a little bit more recently. Oh no, that was not as recently. Arrest. Oh, see, you even get into fire information down here. I'm just going to click on the DPD incidents NIBRS reporting. And when you click on any one of those options, it will give you a summary of what data you have that you can look at. So I'm going to click read more. And if you continue to explore this particular option that we're on, you will see that this information is from October 1st to 2018 to present. And this is the kind of information that you will get if you continue to explore this. You can put in an Excel spreadsheet and just move it around, look at it. You'll get the case number, a report date, the time and then something was reported, the status of the case, be that open, cleared by arrest, the sequence. That means if there was a burglary and a larceny in the same incident, the burglary would be first. That outranks the larceny. And so the sequence would be number 1 in that incident. It's a little bit convoluted to explain. It does make a little bit more sense when you go and you actually look at that data. Attempted or committed, ATTCOM. You get the address of the block and street number, not the full address. If you want to get creative and map that, you have the X and Y coordinates. You have the district, you have the beat, the premise, which is the location, and a weapon if it was a violent crime. So this is something you could get in and look at in terms of looking up District 3 data if you wanted to go that far and explore in there. And that kind of sums up what I have. We won't go into it. We could spend hours going into this, but this is a tool that is a resource that's open to you and the public and to PAC 3. We put that out there for you to be able to look at the data and explore it and ask questions of it. And that's, oh, I did say I would show you one other thing. I don't want to not do that. I'll take us back to the Durham Police Department main page. And then again, crime statistics. And it's not there. If you'll give me, oh yeah, down here, sorry, I missed it. So we went to the Police Department crime statistics page. Down here you have public reports. That's something you can look into, some information, but down here, the homicide tracking reports, very bottom link. And it looks like it was updated in January. This is a lot of data, a lot of information. I'm not going to go into it, but it will give you dispositions on current cases, not all cases, but for sure. But it will give you dispositions and updated information. I believe it updates on a monthly or month and a half, every maybe 2 months information. So this is current as of January 13th, and you can see when an incident occurred, what types of charges have been taken out, and if there's an offender information. So that's something I don't know if you would have any interest in looking at, but I just wanted to make sure you knew was there. And that sums up what I had.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
You-
that last one had a particular block that struck me as it was a whole bunch of charges about murder, and then when it
Well,
said
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That's specifically related to homicides.
I know, but it said, voluntarily dismissed by DA. That just opens the door, doesn't it?
And so I just want you to know that resources there for y'all to look at and explore as a PAC or individuals when you're interested.
Yeah, Vandy, no, I appreciate you pointing that out, and that is a concern. And we can invite the DA back and maybe have her explain these dismissals, because that is a big question mark that comes up when we as citizens look at these reports and see dismissed, 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 dismissed. It's like, is no one getting charged? What is going on? So those are really important questions you're asking. So thank you for
Trying to
bringing it
figure
up.
out how to not share my screen anymore. There we go.
There you go. Thank you. And Mary, I think all these resources are there for us. And so we as a PAC want to share resources with citizens. And then we depend on Officer Mock and Captain Murray, our commanders in our district, to help synthesize these statistics, because it can be a deep hole that we don't quite know how to deal with. So we're following you today, Mary, with Captain Murray, so we can direct questions maybe to both of you. Are there any other questions that we need to direct to Mary?
There was one question in the chat when the crimes were being individually looked at, and it was brought up. The question is shoplifting only the class 3 shoplifting, or is that a larceny from a commercial building?
I'm not sure I understand the class 3. I'm not sure what that means. It's capturing anything that constitutes a shoplifting based on the federal NIBRS definition, which is National Incident-Based Reporting System, which is the theft from a business of something that is for sale. So in a grocery store, in the Walmart, it's not stealing the pen from the register, that's not for sale, but stealing anything that is for sale as part of a business. Does that answer that question? So everything I talked about, and you could Google federal, or you could Google NIBRS, actually, NIBRS, and it would take you to, it's all open and public information, the Federal Bureau of Investigation's website, where it has all of the specific definitions of these crimes and examples of them. And it's a really long book you could read if you're interested, but all of our categories are based solely on that book.
All right. I didn't realize how late it was. I was so engrossed. Mary, thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
with us today. And we can continue these conversations at our monthly meetings. So we always have access to looking at these numbers ourselves, but we can also ask the captain's help. So let's move on the agenda. And Captain Murray, can you highlight your report for us today? I know there are some areas of our district that have had great concerns.
Sure, let me give it a try here. Okay, Mary outlined a lot of data, and actually when I send out my weekly updates, I kind of look at it 2 different ways. One is something you can understand and explain in English. So you can, I can throw data at you all day long, and it may not give you the exact picture of exactly what is going on geographically, or if there are trends or things like that they're being recognized. And the second one is every month I try to look at the 28-day total as a whole for the PAC instead of looking at it on a weekly basis. This week, I had to go a little bit special because we had some things going on. Just want to highlight, but as far as the 28-day robbery, we have had an increase this month. Most of the robberies on the current trend are robberies of persons, not necessarily robberies of businesses. Ag assault is down for this month. As far as property crimes, burglaries, we're remaining down, which is good. The shoplifting cases are down, which is good because we're out of the Christmas season. Usually, obviously, around Christmas season, we do see the trend go up because we do hold a large percentage of the commercial businesses in the city, but that is trending down even as we speak. So that's a good thing. Larceny for motor vehicles cases, we are up, and it kind of goes up and down depending on the week. What we're seeing right now is a large amount of construction power tools being stolen out of vehicles. Unfortunately, we are seeing not only vehicles being, left open and the information and stuff being stolen from there, but also from the vehicles that are being broken into. So that is a concern to us as far as things being left in the vehicles and forcibly being taken out. That's more of a recent trend in the last couple of weeks. So that's why I've been putting it out weekly. Hey, look out, make sure, don't put anything in your car. They are breaking into them. Now, as far as the that's it for the month. Again, we kind of look at it on a monthly basis just for PAC to see how we're doing on a monthly cycle. As far as let's see here, see if I can get this to go away. Now, as far as if I can unshare, don't know if I can here, new share. All right, the things that we're really concerned about this week is in the last week, if you look at the bottom, not going to appear on last week's numbers because they're actually part of next week's numbers. But again, we're working real time. Daryl and I have been chatting back and forth all week about because of this particular issue. We've had 3 armed robberies in the area of Duke. And we've been talking the last several months about the areas around Campus Walk Avenue, Irwin Road, about the 2600 block of Irwin Road, down LaSalle Street, 300 block of LaSalle Street, has been rather active on and off. We have done a lot of things in the last couple of months about that particular area. We have seen a pickup in the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, last week it came to a head. We had 3 armed robberies in the area of Duke, behind the apartments, about the 2600 block, which is about where the restaurants are area. One of them was a home invasion involving 5 victims, and the other 2 were common law robbery, meaning they were done without a weapon. The common law robbery are related. They were done by the same suspect. We look at, or at least the information we have is it looked like it's the same suspect. One of them was an attempted, and that's just, at this point, that's just a conversation. The bottom line is we had them. These were particularly Duke graduate students who were victims of those particular 3 robberies. That being said, that area right now is rather active. We're working with Duke PD, with Daryl, with other units of Durham PD to try to work that area as hard as we can to provide additional support for that area. And just want to let you know, we are working with the particular housing communities and everything like that to educate them as well. Officer Mark's got some meetings scheduled, and we're going to continue work in that area. So that's kind of the hot spot for what's going on right now. You will see those particular robberies on next week's numbers, but I wanted to give you a heads up and the fact that we are experiencing a particular situations in that area. There hasn't been anything as far as violent crime in that area since those last weekend. But again, we are definitely, keeping an eye on that and making sure we have those officers in the area doing what they need to do. That's about all I got for this week, but I wanted to give you a heads up. We're continuing to do what we do, and we'll continue to let you know how all those trends are going.
Thank
Captain,
you.
can I ask a quick question about that?
Sure.
What happened at Hope Valley Road and Martin Luther King Parkway, the road rage incident?
Yes. There was the information we got is there was a road rage incident at that location. A driver got out of her car and had a disagreement with a driver in her vicinity, and as a result, the driver, one of the drivers, shot the other driver. It was a it was an injury wound. There's more to the story. We think those particular individuals may know each other, maybe some other history going on. So it's an isolated incident. It's not necessarily random in nature. Let's put it that way.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you so much. And we will be having next meeting the chief here. So I want to remind everybody, we can ask her questions as well, but we'd like you to submit questions for the chief prior to her coming. So if some things weren't answered today, maybe we can either send them to Captain Murray directly, or we can, please, we want to hear from you, your concerns, what you want to know about from the chief for next month. I did want to welcome the mayor. Mayor, are you still with us?
Yes. Good morning, everybody, and I'm on the Zoom. Our chief is presenting to PAC 3, so I'm on 2 Zooms this morning, but I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. We welcome you whenever you can join us and appreciate all you're doing.
Mindy, you muted yourself.
Thank you. Community Health Department, Donna Rosser. Let's see, Daryl, if you could share, yeah.
Mindy, I'm sorry, we're at time, it's 11 o'clock, and I'm wondering if we want to send out presentations instead of having them, or if the community's okay with us to proceed. How would you like to handle that?
Yes, my apologies. If you can stay on, why don't we continue for 5 minutes? And if you can't, we will send out this report from Donna. How does that sound? So I see people are needing to leave. They're saying that in the chat. So we thank you for being with us. If you can stay on, we'll quickly go through these announcements and we will send them out. I know we could send out a couple of things or try. Yeah, I think we're good. Bobby, we're going to have to move you up on the list for next month. Donna, can you go through this quickly then for those who could stay? Donna, we have a screen up for you on the COVID cases. Are you still with us?
Maybe on mute.
Donna, you're on mute.
Donna, we don't hear you. We see the screen on the COVID cases.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can now. Thank
Okay,
you.
I was gonna say, you can send a presentation out if you don't have time for me to do it.
Well, that would be great. Sorry you sat through the whole meeting and didn't get to present, but I think
That's
in
no
the
problem.
interest of time, we better do that. So we'll
It's
send
no-
out.
No
Donna does,
problem.
thank you, Donna. She does a wonderful job of presenting all the services and resources available through the county that are connected with public health, and everything seems to be connected to public health. Parks and Rec, good. Bobby, quick say hello and welcome to our meeting. We're glad you can join us. You're on.
Yeah, just hi everybody. I'm Bobby Matthews. I'm your PAC Code Enforcement Officer. And if you have any cares or concerns about what you see as far as the condition of housing or yards and stuff in your community, the best place to report is Durham One Call.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
good information. I didn't know that. So there are some vacant houses on Rosedale and PAC 3 that I walk by. And so that's where I should report.
Yeah, if you have a concern about any properties, Durham One Call, that way we keep our best case records that way. And it'll be forwarded to me if it's in PAC 3, and I'll respond within the next 48 hours.
Thank you, Bobby. That is great. So Bobby will be joining us every month as he's able, and we can ask him directly about locations as well. But use the Durham One Call 560-1200
Yes.
to report. And that's a great number for any concern you have. They can connect you to any department in the city. I wanted to announce for TRI that there is incredible symposium going on February 22nd, and we'll send this out to the listserv on marijuana legalization, brain science, community impact, and risk prevention. And it's being co-hosted by Duke's Center on Addiction and Behavior Change in the Brain Center at Duke. So it's a really science-based, informative view of marijuana, so that as we as citizens vote on these issues, that we are informed and we know the dangers and the positive benefits to marijuana legalization. So that's February 22nd. It's a Zoom symposium. It starts at 9 in the morning, goes till 3. And I'm sure if you can come in and out as you are able. We are meeting next month by Zoom. We're hoping to meet in April in person if we see the trends for COVID going into a low area and a safe area that we can join together. So Hazeline and Jesse, we hope to be back up in Lions Park in April. The next meeting is Saturday, the 12th at 10, and our guest speaker will be Chief Andrews, who spent lots of years in PAC 3 as a district officer. So we welcome her back, and we feel that she's one of ours. So we're very fortunate that she's able to join us next month. Any other concerns or messages, announcements? Alexis, Daryl, Officer Moss?
I just wanted to hop in really quick to say that Carmen has transitioned to the budget department.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
No,
And
it's fine.
She is our
It's
new
fine.
interim Carmen. Yes.
Yes.
So Carmen, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll be here in the meantime until we fill the position. So if you have any questions or anything, reach out to me, and I'll put my email in the chat. I know we're tight on time, but I did want to let you all know that we're recording the videos and posting them on the website, and I can send that to you through the email listserv. And also they are on our playlist under the City of Durham's YouTube channel. So you can go and watch all of them. On another note, thank you so much for coming to this PAC meeting. And if you know anyone that's interested in getting involved throughout the city, you can also find all the PAC information on our website as well, and other PACs that are recording theirs too. And that is durhamcommunityengagement.org.
Thank you, Alexis. Yes, we welcome her with open arms. She is stepping into Carmen's position and doing a wonderful job making herself available to PAC 3. So we appreciate all your help, Alexis. Thank you. And Daryl, welcome. Thank you for joining the leadership team. Do you want to make a few comments about Duke or not?
No, I appreciate being here. Duke is having an emotional time right now in a good way, and then just kind of reflecting on itself. Obviously, you guys know of our officer-involved shooting that occurred on the 14th of January. We're fully cooperative with the SBI, the State Bureau of Investigations. Hopefully have a result back on that probably by the end of spring is what we're probably anticipating. In the meantime, we're working very closely with Durham PD, again, off LaSalle Street and Campus Walk, keeping an eye out. We're actually assisting in patrols with marked and unmarked vehicles. And of course, the students are back in full force and ready to go for their graduation. They're gearing up for a big semester, and then they had the big emotional win over UNC last weekend. So we it's just been a big emotional ball every week, and we're looking forward to a great finale for our school year this year, heading into our summer. So, thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. And we appreciate all of you being here. You all add something to these meetings, and we really do appreciate you giving us your time and going over 8 minutes. And I promise I'll do better. But I get caught up in all the good information that's being shared. So thank you again, all of you, for being with us. Send us your comments, concerns, and we'll try to deal with everything in a timely manner. So have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Oh, and it is Black History Month. And I'm sorry, I had some really good quotes that maybe I can send out in the chat. For Black History Month. So
and you can get ready for Women's History Month next
right for March. There we go. There's lots of good things to share and to be motivated to find these solutions to these community problems. That's our goal, is to work together, to engage, to make Durham a safer, better place for all of our citizens. So thank you, Officer Mock, for all you do. It's been a really tough week and upcoming week for her. She's meeting with students off campus, who have been impacted by these recent crimes. And that's a draining proposition. The kids are afraid, they're angry. And Officer and Daryl, I'm sure you're there at those meetings too. So thank you for giving of yourselves and your time. Thank you, Rita, for taking minutes. And I guess I better let you all go. That's enough thank yous. All right, take care.
Appreciate it, Mindy. Thanks.
Bye-bye.